Ladies and gentlemen, this is Smash MC. I'm going to be attempting to survive 100 days on this Pixelmon server. The server includes many features such as 8 gyms, a safari, battle towers, and tournaments for real money. There's also a war zone where legendary Pokemon can spawn, and you can battle other players to take their Pokemon. They have custom Pokemon textures, a Pokemon Hunger Games, this thing called Poke Hunt where if you catch certain Pokemon you get rewards such as in-game currency and much more. So make sure to check out the server IP, website, Discord, and actually how to install Pixelmon down in the description below. Oh yeah, if you do /warp Zetro, you'll also be able to go to my house and build where I built mine. Oh yeah, they're also going to be doing a $10,000 Pokemon World Cup starting in April. Now, I prepared 4 main objectives for when going into these 100 days. First of all, I would like to get the biggest Pokemon in the game. In this case, this is a Wailord. He's absolutely massive, and I think he'd be a great Pokemon to have. Second of all, I want to have 6 level 100 Pokemon. Now, I'm not sure if this is possible, as level 100 is literally the maximum level they can be. I also want to make a nice house for me to live in for these whole 100 days. And finally, by the end of the 100 days, I want to defeat a gym. It doesn't matter what gym. I just want to be able to defeat a gym leader, and get myself the rewards. Anyway, enough of all that. Let's get into day number 1.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hey, Skies.
Yeah, what's up?
Did you know that only 5.7% of my viewers are actually subscribed?
What? 5.7?
Yeah, I guess we should just get on with the video. Also, follow me on Twitter at ZetroLol, Twitch at Zetro_TV, and Discord linked in the description. Also, be sure to comment your favorite Pokemon down below, and maybe give me some names for the Pokemon I get in this video, because I didn't think of any. Enjoy the video. It was time to settle into the server. I hopped in the Rayquaza server and got going. I picked the Charmander because I knew that would turn into a Charizard eventually, and spent the first day exploring the server to see what it had to offer. I looked at things like server info, this place where you could heal Pokemon, and the shopping mall, which is probably going to be important in the future. There was this area where you can fight higher leveled Pokemon, and then down at the bottom you can fight these really low level Pokemon. And I got my Charmander from a level 8 to a level 10. I did /RTP to go to a random place and did a bit of exploring around this area, and spotted a bunch of new Pokemon that I hadn't actually seen before. I tried to catch this bird Pokemon, which was just impossible, and I also spotted this thing that looks like a Bulbasaur from far away, but when I got to it realized it wasn't. I then captured this Spearow, the first Pokemon I actually captured on the server, for many more to come. I leveled him up a bit with my rare candies and managed to turn him into a Fearow. He was level 21 at this point. I took him back to the spawn to try and level him up a bit and got him to level 22. Third day onto the server, doing RTP once again, I found this village which I'll be able to get a bunch of materials from. I got things like wood and cobblestone, but also managed to farm myself a bunch of wheat and wheat seeds. This trainer then just wanted to battle me. They had a Zubat, I had a Fearow, but I destroyed them. After many failed attempts, I caught this Magikarp, which was really cool because I'd be able to turn it into a Gyarados. Look at him there, just flopping about. Only on day 4, I turned this Magikarp into a Gyarados. I probably could have waited a bit and not wasted the rare candies, but I just wanted a Gyarados. I started evolving him and he was getting massive. He started turning into literally like 7 times the size. After literally taking up my whole screen, he finally turned into a Gyarados. He was massive. With my new Pokemon, I explored the area once again. I thought it would be a good idea to go on a bit of a spending spree. I went to the shopping mart and realized I couldn't afford anything. Although I did notice this little tab that said sell, which means I'd probably be able to sell to them to get myself some money in the future. I also saw people selling a bunch of stuff on GTS, such as a Zapdos, which is something I actually wanted to get as it was a legendary Pokemon. I managed to escape the wrath of this Cricketune, and I found this cool little kind of village area. Seeing all these houses made me realize I don't want to live on my own. I want to be near other people. This is why I decided to ask if anyone had a village or town that I could build at, and someone said yes. Look at this guy's house. It was so cool. I'd love to build here. I decided I'd set my house quite high up on this mountain, so I started terraforming. This terraforming was quite a lengthy process because I wanted it to look good, so it took me all of the next day. I also had literally no idea to claim, so I got this person to help me. I now had my own area where I could build and no one would be able to touch it. Whilst building the structure of the mountain where I was going to build my house, I noticed these pretty cool Pokemon behind me. One of the people had a Kyogre, and one of them had whatever this thing is. Now, 7% of the way into the world, I had my structure where I'd build my house. Rare candies being the best way to be able to level up Pokemon, I decided I'd ask the locals how I'm going to be able to get rare candies fairly easily. They told me to go /warp Eevee, so that's exactly what I did. I fought this woman with an Eevee, of course. My Gyarados used a couple of attacks, and that Eevee was done. She didn't even do much damage to my Gyarados. I collected my winnings in the form of 6 rare candies, and I was on my way. When I went home, this hacker Momo wanted a piece of me. My Gyarados took him out easily, though. Even though the guy was literally 16 levels above mine, I still won. Of course, I'd need materials to actually make this house, so when I luckily found this dark oak forest very close by, I exploited it for all the wood I could. I also caught this little Machop. Look at him. While battling Pokemon, I actually remembered that I had a login reward to collect. I collected it and I got 16 luxury balls. I also did a bunch of voting for the server to get myself some more money and tried to level up my Gyarados a bit more. Once I had collected all this wood, I noticed that I had a new Pokemon. I don't know how it got there. Maybe some of you guys might know. But I realized I had this Drudigon. I have no idea. But I had this guy. I managed to complete my first evolution. I got my Charmander up to a Charmeleon. I got some more candies with this Drudigon from Warp Eevee. And got my Charmeleon all the way up to level 30. I needed a bit of inspiration for my house, so I went and checked out this guy. He kind of had what I wanted on the side of a mountain. I grabbed some coal and went off adventuring. I really wanted this Persian, so I used my Pokemon to try and get it a bit low so it'd be easier to catch her, and I ended up killing it. I then saw this Absol, which I really wanted to grab, and I don't think I've actually seen this Pokemon in a very long time. I used a few Pokeballs, and that was it. I grabbed myself this Pokemon. This Pokemon would go on to be very important in the future. I decided to use day 16 and 17 to level up this Absol by battling Pokemon. I got him from level 28 to level 37, nearly 10 levels in just a couple of days. It was now time to get myself some money. This server had a thing called Poke Hunt to hunt certain Pokemon. I mean, it's in the name. And then if I found them, I'd get some money. This Sandshrew was probably the easiest one to get, so that's the one I went for. After searching far and wide across the desert, I found this little village with a Gibble. I made this Gibble mine because, well, I wanted it. And also found a Sandshrew. I fought him with the Gibble to try and get him easier to catch, and then threw a Pokeball at him. But he was still on the Poke Hunt screen. I carried on going and found another Sandshrew. This time, I wanted to actually make sure I got the money. I caught the Sandshrew, did /Poke Hunt, and that was it. The Sandshrew was gone. I haven't received any rewards yet, though. Either way, I caught this Shinx and decided to carry on my way. I then got home and began to make myself a little mine. Finally, at the start of day 19, I received my rewards. I had my rare candies, I had my money. Things were looking good. Life was great. I made myself some torches and carried on going down my mine. I was getting coal and iron on my way down, and I actually found myself in this cave getting a bunch of different ores. You're probably wondering, hey Zetro, why do you want so many ores? Who cares? It's Pixelmon. I wanted to sell these ores to the people at the shopping mart. I didn't know how much they'd give me, but I assumed they'd give me a good amount, so that's exactly what I wanted to get. I found iron, coal, I even found myself some diamonds. I found myself in this mine shaft, which was pretty cool, and I found this Aaron. I fought him to get him low and then captured him. Another Pokemon to add to my collection. I chucked my stuff in a chest and continued to level up my Absol. Look at him, level 40. As I had some rare candies from this /Poke Hunt, I leveled up my Absol. I leveled him up constantly, and by the end of it, he was level 52, halfway to getting my first level 100. I thought he needed a bit of a health upgrade, so I fought these Wolverines for literally the rest of the day, and he went from 167 HP to 171. My adventure continued as I tried to fill up my Pokédex. As you know, one thing I really wanted to get was the biggest Pokemon in the game. I found this Whalmer undersea, and after holding my breath underwater for a very long time and a few missed Pokeballs, I managed to capture him. This Whalmer would go on to be evolved and turn into a Wailord, the biggest Pokemon on the server. While I did continue to adventure out the rest of this day, I didn't really find any Pokemon that I wanted. Although I did see this Electabuzz, which I wanted to grab, I managed to get him on day number 23. I also caught this Wingull, and I mean, you're probably wondering why. why. It's just because he reminded me of Animal Crossing. That's literally the reason. I also spent way too many Pokeballs trying to catch this Jangmo-o, and it didn't work. I decided to move on and found another village where I got myself one of those cool doormats I saw at that other guy's house. I ended the day off by getting myself this Onix, a massive Pokemon that I'd be able to add to my little collection I was getting. I used my Electabuzz to get him very low, and I managed to capture him with one Pokeball. I also found this Teddy Ursa, and if you didn't know, Teddy Ursa actually evolves into an Ursa ring, and he's pretty big. I threw this Pokeball and actually managed to grab him. I looked at GTS to see what people had for offer, but couldn't afford any of it. I fought Eevee once again, got myself another 6 rare candies, and I grabbed a bunch of stuff I had in my chest, so I wanted to see what I'd actually be able to sell. The main thing, though, that caught my eye was they would accept iron. This iron would be the best way, I think, for me to get this money, because they paid $7 per ingot, and iron would be very easy to get. I smelted the rest of the iron I had and made my way down my mine. I found this cool little ravine and got myself all the way down to level 9, the prime level for mining. Quarter of the way into my 100 days, time was really flying by. Of course, I was now at my level I wanted to mine at. That's exactly what I did. I strip mined and I got myself things like coal, iron, redstone, and even a few diamonds. And I ended off the day by smelting all of the ore I had. It was now time to cash in. I was going to be rich. I approached the NPCs and sold all of my stuff to them. Unfortunately, they didn't accept redstone, which was disappointing because I had a lot, but it was all good. I still managed to get myself up to over $3,000. I asked if anyone was selling rare candy now that I actually had some money to spend, and I found this guy. We agreed on 9 rare candies for 3,600, which was literally all my money. He put them on the marketplace and I grabbed them. Earlier, I caught this Sableye while mining, so I wanted to level that up, and that's exactly what I did. I leveled him up with these new candies I had. I then continued mining myself a bunch of ores, including diamonds, for the rest of the day. I spent day 27 leveling up my Absol by killing all these Pokemon, and realized when I went to the mart, these mental herbs that I was getting from the Alakazam were actually worth around $25 each, and if I was getting quite a lot, that would add up to a very good amount of money. Now, I made my pickaxes, and it was time to go mining. I headed down my mine, started mining, and found myself in this cave. It was time to get as many ores as possible to be able to sell for some money, which is why I was in there for so long. A lot of ores, of course, means a lot of furnaces. I placed all these down and sat and watched all my ores get melted into a metal. Eventually, I had all this iron, and there was this one guy called HR. He was willing to pay $2,000 per stack of iron. I told him I had 7 stacks, but unfortunately, he only wanted 4, which was fine because it still gave me $8,000. I sold the rest of my stuff to these NPCs and finished off this day with $14,500. While exploring on day 32, I noticed that someone was selling 39 rare candies, and of course, you know, I had the money, I had to pounce. I bought all the rare candies and carried on going. Another cool thing on this server, you can get these little bits of loot, and that's what I was getting throughout running, but nothing really worth anything, and I didn't really find any Pokemon I wanted. My Absol was level 60, I had 39 candies. I can assume you know where I'm going with this. I spent every single candy I had on this Absol, and of course got him up to level 99 with a few extra little moves as well. I got 6 more candies from the Eevee and got my Absol to level 100. My first level 100 Pokemon was now mine. I did Pokehunt again, and I didn't have much faith that I'd be able to find these Pokemon, as they're a lot less common, but I tried anyway. I already had some diamond pickaxes, but I thought I'd spend a bit more money and make myself a diamond axe, seeing as I was going to be breaking a lot of trees, and I didn't just want an iron axe for this job. I headed back over to the forest and spent the whole of day 34 getting myself wood. I needed a lot because this house, it was going to be big. This is why I spent past days and so long on day 34 just getting wood. I made a chest or 2 to put this wood in, and of course no house is complete without some cobblestone, which is why I spent the whole of day 35 getting myself loads of cobblestone. Day 36, I terraformed this little area to make it more flatter to be able to build there just in case I ever needed to, because I didn't know how far out this house was going to go. Ladies and gentlemen, it was now time to build my house. All what I was looking forward to. It took a very long time as I wanted to make it great. Let me know what you think down in the comments. What would you have done differently? Do you like this house? Anyway, let's get on with the time lapses. And that was it. My house was done. Doesn't it look cool? Now, of course, the inside was very empty. I didn't know what I was going to do with it quite yet, so I decided to just leave it. It wasn't important. I then used this login rewards to get me a random Pokemon, and I got this Chinchino. I also got myself some more rare candies. I ran around for the rest of the day and ended off by getting myself some more good old iron. Day 50, now halfway into the 100 days. I did slash Poke Hunt, checked what I'd be looking for, and went on my journey. It was a very long journey, and while I didn't manage to catch any Pokemon from the Poke Hunt, because there were quite hard ones to find, I did manage to see a bunch of sites that I wouldn't have seen otherwise if I didn't go on this adventure, and bought me even more rare candies at the end of this day. Now over halfway on day 51, I began the day by getting myself a bunch of sugarcane. I don't know why, I wanted to kind of make a sugarcane farm, but didn't know how I'd actually do it when it came to that time. I did slash warp safari and found this new area, which was supposed to have a bunch of new Pokemon, but for some reason it wasn't working at this point. I decided to put these certain Pokemon in my inventory, and these Pokemon were going to be the ones that I was going to use on the 100th day. My Wailmer was level 37, and he would evolve at level 40, so you know what I had to do. I fought Pokemon for ages, and then eventually, that was it. I killed this Sunflora, he got to level 40, and he started evolving. He was becoming massive. He stretched out very, very far, and eventually, he evolved into a Wailord. Day 53, I got my login rewards, got myself some more rare candies, and I sold a bunch of these disc things at the mart. Whenever I'd go out exploring, I'd find these on the floor in little Pokeballs, and I just had a bunch, and I had no idea what to do with them. They may not have got me loads of money, but they were just clogging up space in my chests, and I wanted to get rid of them. I then mined from day 54 all the way up till 56 once again. It was time for me to get myself a bunch of more ores. Just look at all these magnificent ores I had after these few days of mining. I went out once again, and I found myself this Master Ball on the floor. You get Master Ball loot from these, and I got another one of these disc things. I had no idea what they did, but I guess I could sell it. Now, it is safe to say that I had a lot more ores this time than I did the last time, which caused for a lot more furnaces. I placed all these furnaces down, and I sat and waited. Once these were done, of course, now to cash in on my investment, I sold the coal, I sold the aluminium, I sold the gold, I sold everything. And at the end of it, after selling all of my iron as well, I had another $10,000 once again. I used a bunch of candies I bought to level up my Wailord. I mean, you literally cannot see it because he's just that big. Not only using the rare candies, you know, I'm not lazy. I also leveled him up by killing Pokemon. But as you can see, I only gained about 1 level from this. As you can probably tell, most of the operations I was conducting was with wood. So I needed a bunch more. I spent day 61 getting myself wood from this forest. And I spent day 62 sorting out my chests. Because as you could probably tell, they were very messy and really unorganized. Day 63 was another day of me exploring deserts, forests, caves, even swamps. Day 64, a stack of days. I basically put how much money I have out to see what people would give me, and this guy gave me 48 candies for around $10,000, which was a very good price. I then used these candies to evolve my Aron and quickly got him to his second evolution later on. I continued, and a few candies later, he was now an Agron, the final evolution, and one beastie Pokemon. Day 65 was a bit of a weird one. I was going round until I saw this mischievous portal. I built up to it and jumped straight in. I was in this weird realm. The skies were just plain colors, and I was beginning to float. It seemed like I was on a big island. There seemed like there was no end. There was no bottom to this world. I hopped down, and I was just falling for ages until it just teleported me back to the overworld, and the portal was gone. I found this really weird building, assuming it was some sort of building that a player had built, but it was actually like a gym. I tried to fight this lantern, but as you can see, it literally destroyed multiple of my Pokemon, including my level 100 Absol. For the past couple of days, while I was out exploring, I was actually trying to find obsidian, and I realized after all this exploring, I could have literally just went down to my mine and grabbed some obsidian from the ravine. So that's exactly what I did. And if you're wondering why I wanted to get this obsidian, it was to get an enchanting table. That was at least until I realized I would have no way to even get books to make this enchanting table. So it was a bit of a waste of time, but I mean, at least I got myself some obsidian for maybe in the future. I then walked to a place that I hadn't actually been before, the Battle Tower. Not knowing what I was getting myself into, I hopped into the Battle Tower and got into a fight with one of the people there. I got his Garbodor really low, and then he took out my Absol, which was unfortunate. He was so overpowered, I didn't stand a chance. In disappointment, I headed back out. In Slash Poke Hunt, one of the Pokemon I needed was a Rhyhorn, and I found him in this Savannah type area. Unfortunately though, after trying to catch him, I realized that it wasn't actually the right one. I wanted to explore the world in shaders, so that's exactly what I did. I chucked on the shaders and just explored for the whole day. But yeah, this is what it looks like rendered, so I'm sorry about that. I chucked on my business cap and I was ready to make myself some deals. Grabbing all the junk out of my chests, I just sold it to the NPC. Not for a lot, but I mean, it made space in my chests and I got rid of some junk that, I mean, I had no idea what any of it did. I thought a good way to make money as well would be to do /STS. This way I'd be able to sell Pokemon in my Pokedex. Of course, I didn't want to sell the ones I already had, so I went out to try and get some. I then explored a ravine for a bit, found this random person's house, and then realized it was an actual little village that they had. While entering this person's house, I actually noticed there was a username below me. There was someone in this house. I had found civilization. While exploring this person's house, I went behind these iron doors and then realized I had no way of getting out. I had just got myself stuck. I had to get the person to literally let me out themselves. Day 17 now, we were kind of getting close to the 100 days. While exploring, I did find a few caves and just spent the day mining, because every time I went mining, I would find doors which would then translate to money for rare candies, which would of course get my Pokemon to higher levels. Obviously, the higher level the better, and as you know, one of my main aims was to get 6 level 100 Pokemons. I also continued this mining on day 71 to try get as much ores as I could, of course getting things like emeralds and mainly iron and coal, as these were the main things that were actually easy-ish to get. Do you remember I got that Master Ball earlier? Yeah, it was time to sell, and after a couple of failed attempts, as you can see, from trying to sell this Master Ball, I decided to just post it on GTS. I posted it for 6,000 and it sold it instantly. It sold before I could even try and tell people that it was on there for people to buy. Now obviously I had a bunch of ores from earlier when I was mining, so I had to just sit and watch them burn until they were all done, ready to be sold. This mainly just consisted of things like iron, silicone, aluminium and gold. Day 73, I put on my businessman glasses. Can we make that a thing? Businessman glasses? I don't know. But I basically sold all of the ores I had. I sold everything to this Mart person for probably less than they're worth. But I was happy because by the time I was done, once again, I had around $11,000. I asked if anyone had any candies for sale because I had $13,000. And this person said they can give me 48 candies for this amount. I went to him, he gave me the candies, I gave him the money, and the deal was done. Of course, my Aggron still wasn't level 100, but I had the candies to get him there. Well, I had the candies to get him to level 99 once again. It's like when I had the Absol. Every time I get candies to get a Pokemon to level 100, I can only get it to level 99. It's so annoying. I took him to spawn, I fought some Pokemon with him, and he was now at level 100. My third level 100 Pokemon. My empire was slowly building. My empire of these powerful Pokemon was being constructed. Back to the Eevee we go for some more rare candies. I went out into the unknown once again, and I found this Venipede. I wanted to get him, but it just wasn't working. I realized my 6 Pokemon slots were full, and that was meaning I couldn't get any Pokemon. I chucked my Pokemon back into the computer at home, went back out and got this Murkrow. I sold him and then carried on going. The reason I was getting these Pokemon was just to try and sell them. I wanted to test the waters and see how much money this way would getting me by selling Pokemon compared to going mining. And after finding Pokemon and capturing them and selling them for most of the day, such as this Cactian, this Seviper, and a bunch of other Pokemon, it became apparent to me that it was a lot easier to get money with the mining compared to this way because of the time you had to wait between selling each Pokemon. It was now time to talk to the owner of the server, the main man, the guy that was going to give me the tips to beat this Pokemon gym in the future. Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
What's
come
up,
in.
Petro? How you doing? How you doing?
Okay, so I am now around 75 days in, about 3/4 of the way there. I've got a few questions. I want to show you my Pokemon. Okay, so this is my first one. This is Absol. He's the first
level 100 Absol, bro.
my first one, my first level 100. I think you're gonna like this one.
Okay. Oh my god!
Now I've got one more level 100. This is him. He's pretty mighty. He's pretty cool. These are the 3 that maybe you can give me your opinion on. We've got Larvitar, got Charmeleon, of course. I still haven't evolved him. I don't know why. We have Teddy Ursa.
I would definitely say keep the Tyranitar.
But what do you think? Do you think I should switch him out, keep him? What do you...
if you're able to get the Larvitar and the Charmeleon to level 100 before your 100th day, definitely keep them. But I think you should probably switch out your Teddiursa for, I don't know, maybe you could get a legendary Pokemon of some sort to go to the Boss Tower. Have you been there yet?
Oh, yeah. I think what is it / Warp Boss Tower? Oh, wait. No, wait, what? I have not been here.
It's a good way to get some really rare Pokemon items that you can then sell on the GTS or just to other players in general.
I definitely did not know that. Okay. I'm going to go back to my home. Oh, yeah. One other thing I forgot to tell you. I got a, so you know you get the random, like, drops.
Yeah.
I think it was yesterday. I actually got a Master Ball. I sold it for a bit cheap.
How much did you sell it for, bro?
I mean, how much do you think is a good price, actually?
7K maybe? I don't know.
I sold it for I sold it for 200.
You're an embarrassment.
I'm joking. Sold it for 6K. Still a bit low, but that's still a good amount.
Another thing, if you go to /Warp Mart, there's one thing I don't think you might not know about this. I'm not sure. So if you follow me this way, so over here you can actually buy a ton of moves.
I have not been up here.
Yeah, so if there's any moves, this is a really good place to buy essentially any move that you'd like, and then you can put it on your Pokemon. Now, you have to make sure that the Pokemon can learn the move before you buy it, though. But it's a really good way to change the movesets of your Pokemon to make sure that they're really well balanced and have the best moves possible.
So what would you suggest I go and do right now? I need to go grind to get myself money. What do I do?
Probably go to the Boss Tower.
Okay, so plan A, fight Pokemon in the Boss Tower. Plan B, go mining for iron.
Yes, but before you battle the Boss Tower Pokemon, try to find your XP share and put it onto your Charmeleon.
Thank you for the help. After the wise words of Mr. Sirud, of course, I did what he said and headed to the Boss Tower. I fought Pokemon such as the Amoonguss, the Vaporeons, everything. I fought them all here, and I managed to get myself a bit of loot. Fighting this Vaporeon was probably the best out of all of them because it gave me these plates. But these plates were actually, according to other players, worth about $1,000 at least each. I didn't know if Sirud was actually right in saying that you could get good loot worth a good amount, but seeing how much these plates are worth and probably how easy they would sell, I decided to spend my next couple of days here as well. I won't bore you with me fighting every single Pokemon, but I fought quite a lot, and the amount of loot I got was actually pretty good. Of course, not all of it was worth an insane amount, but it was still more than I expected at least. Oh, and you probably thought I stopped there. Oh, no. I wanted to get as much loot as possible in this short time frame. I did this fighting for day 79, but also day 80. It was just really fun to me fighting Pokemon that were actually a decent level. And now because these are the 6 Pokemon that I was going to be using in the battle, it was good to kind of see which moves worked against which Pokemon and which moves I'd have to switch out in the future. So yeah, it was definitely good fighting these Pokemon. It was fun, and I also got, of course, loot worth a good amount of money. Assuming these plates I had were worth about 1,000 each, that's what I decided to post them for. Put them on GTS, and along with those, I decided to sell a bunch of the other stuff I got. While I could have probably sold this for more on the GTS, you can only post around 5 things maximum, so I just sold all the rest of this stuff. I spent the rest of the day doing a bit of mining and found myself in a pretty good cave. Now, I had 3 Pokemon level 100 and 3 that weren't. Not even 3 that weren't, 2 that weren't, and a missing slot. These last days were all about making money. Day 82 to 83 was spent mining, and when I mean mining, I mean literally getting every ore that I could find. Then of course, what comes with mining is of course smelting once again, as you probably know by now. I smelted all my ores and then sold them to the NPCs once again, giving myself a net worth on the server of around 10,000 once again. Now, I had this Larvitar, and I had about 15 rare candies that I assume I just saved them up from getting them from the EV, but I had 15 rare candies and I used them on this Larvitar, which actually evolved him into a Pupitar. While this is cool, of course, it was still not the final evolution. I still had some more to go. He was around level 37, so I took him back to spawn to kill some more Pokemon to level him up a bit, and he actually got to around level 39. I then had a bit of money, so I bought some rare candies off the GTS, went back home and evolved him. A few later, he was now evolving into a Tyranitar. He started to grow a bit, the sparkles were coming off him, the beams were shining out of him, and he was now a Tyranitar. look at the size of him. He was menacing. Now, there's a big jump between day 86 and day 93. And, well, it's just because I spent all of these days mining. Now, I won't bore you telling all the ores I got and the amounts right now, but I basically just spent all of this time mining. It was around 2.5 hours to 3 hours just straight mining in this cave. I wanted to get more ores than I ever had before because I needed a lot of red candies. I still needed to get multiple Pokemon to level 100, and I knew just getting myself as many ores as possible would most likely be the best way to go about it. On day 93, after all this mining and all this smelting of all my ores, I eventually had everything ready. I headed to the mart for one last time and sold him everything I had. I had 1,600 coal. While I was selling this coal, all of my ores were smelting, and of course, I had lots and lots of iron. Look at that. That's over 10 stacks of iron on its own. Now, it was becoming apparent that we were beginning to close in on the 100th day. We were getting so close to fighting the gym leader. But if you remember, I only had 5 Pokemon, and I needed 6. I needed that legendary to fill in that last spot. And this is exactly why I decided to go with this Zapdos. It was $10,000, but it was definitely worth it. I did not want to end this series without one. Look at him. Look how cool he is. Anything that I thought was worth money from what I got from the boss tower earlier, I just chucked it on GTS for whatever I thought it might be going for, which was typically about $500. I didn't expect this stuff to sell, but it would be a good last little bit of money if I needed it. I sold all the other stuff I had at the mart and went to the boss tower to try and get myself a bit more loot once again. Day 95, I still was not satisfied with the amount of money I had, so at an attempt to try and get some more money, I went back to the boss tower. I got a bunch of loot from there, and then on day number 96, I went and sold all this loot to the NPCs once again. I healed my Pokemon, got my login rewards, and got a Master Ball. You have no idea how happy I was. This Master Ball would be able to be sold for above at least 6,000 credits like I sold it before. I chucked the Master Ball on the GTS for 6,500 this time, a bit more than I did last time, and then went to the Warp EV and got myself some red candies. While I was doing this, I actually managed to sell my Master Ball very quickly. Went back to my Tyranitar and gave him some more candies. I then remembered I had these diamonds from mining, and I had saw people selling diamonds for actually a lot of money before, so I decided to ask if anyone wanted to buy them, and luckily this person did. When they came to me, they actually gave me 2 rare candies for free, and then I asked them how much would they want to pay because I had no idea what the price would be, and they offered an insane amount. They offered $500 per diamond. Now, I assume this is overpriced. To me, it seems to be, but that's what they offered, and I wasn't going to say no. They wanted 10 diamonds, so they gave me $5,000, and then I gave them the diamonds. I fed my Tyranitar those 2 rare candies, but then the person wanted the rest of my diamonds for another 9,500 credits. This, combined with the money I got from the Master Ball, added up to an insane amount of around over $30,000, which would literally save me. I really didn't think I was going to be able to get any more rare candies apart from maybe a couple. This guy offered me a stack of rare candies for 18k, and while this was already a good price, I wanted as much money as possible. I offered 17k and he accepted. He gave me the candies, which I then used to get my Charizard to level 100. I had a level 100 Charizard. That was my 4th Pokemon, level 100. I was nearly there. Of course, I had a bunch of rare candies left, so I leveled up my Tyranitar. That was it. It was level 100. I now had the exact amount of candies left to make my Zapdos level 100 as well. The last Pokemon I needed to get to level 100. Now, of course, it was time to get my Zapdos, my final level 100 Pokemon, to, of course, level 100. But I didn't want to just give him the candies. I wanted to find somewhere cool that I could give them to him. And that was when, after venturing out for ages, I found this tree. We hopped on the tree, and this was it. I started giving the Zapdos the candies, and eventually he was level 100. I did it. I got 6 Pokemon to level 100. I had a full level 100 Pokemon team. I did not think this was possible, and I was so happy that I actually managed to do it. Now, there was one more thing I had to do. Do you remember earlier when I got my Absol a higher HP? Well, that's exactly what I had to do for all my Pokemon. I spent day 98 getting my Zapdos, my Tyranitar, and my Charizard all to the maximum HP they'd be able to have. And then my second last day on the server, gearing up to the fight, I of course improved the HP of my Aggron and my Wailord. I went out, did a bit of adventuring, and I realized it was now time. It came to the end of the day, and it was time for me to fight the gym. The gym leader me and him, it was finally time for us to have a battle on the 100th day. Day 100. It was what all this preparation was leading up to. It was time for me to battle a gym. I entered the gym with my head held high, got my Pokemon ready, and it was time to go. The fight was happening. I brought out my Wailord, he brought out a Golem, and my Wailord managed to destroy him instantly. I believe this was because water moves actually go good against rock types. He brought out this Lunar Stone and completely destroyed my Wailord. I had to bring out my second Pokemon, which was my Charizard. I didn't have much preparation with this Charizard, so I decided to just use any move I could. I used Flamethrower first, which did a good amount of damage, and then decided to go with Wing Attack. He got my Charizard to half health, but I managed to get his Lunar Stone to just under half health. I used a couple more moves. We got each other's Pokemon low, but his went first. I still had a bit of my Charizard left. He brought out this Aerodactyl, and I had no idea what to do, as he was a dragon as well. Dragon versus dragon, I didn't know what was going to happen. He did a bunch of damage to me through Aqua Tail. As my Charizard died, I decided to take out my Aggron, as I knew he was a strong Pokemon. The Aerodactyl had a bit of health taken off him, but he did a lot of damage to my Aggron. I then used Iron Head, a move that I was doing a lot in the boss tower, and it completely wiped out the Aerodactyl. I was so surprised for how much damage it actually did. He brought out this Lycanroc. My Aggron got low, but I managed to destroy his Lycanroc once again with the same move. This move was just so OP. I then brought out my Zapdos, my only legendary Pokemon, the final Pokemon to get level 100. I tried to use a couple of attacks, but his Shuckle completely dodged them. I switched out to my Tyranitar, and he probably realized that he had to do the exact same. I didn't think this combo was going to work, so I opted for my first ever level 100 Pokemon, my Absol. He brought back in his Shuckle. His Shuckle got taken for a lot of damage, and I managed to destroy him, with my Absol having a good amount of health still. I kept Absol on the playing field, as I knew he still had a good amount of health, but then he got wiped out of health. He fainted, and I had to bring in my Aggron once again to finish off the job. The Aggron was low, the Gigalith was low. I used Iron Head once again because I knew it was going to work, and that was it. I had completed the gym battle. I won. I was now able to get my rewards. I would get $10,000. I got my rare candies. I was so happy I managed to destroy this gym leader with my Pokemon. All this preparation in the past actually led up to an accomplishment. I was so excited. I gambled that 10,000, unfortunately lost it, and then flew my Charizard over to this little mountain and congratulated all my Pokemon on their big victory. They all played a part in it, and they were amazing, especially the Aggron. It was now it though. It was time for this 100 days to come to an end. We had done amazing. We got a house. We got these amazing Pokemon, including a legendary, a shiny Charizard, all at level 100. I climbed to the top of my house, spawned in my Absol, and me and him just sat and watched the sunset at the end of this 100th day.